I kept telling myself the night could still be saved, even as Emily sat across from me with that distant look again. "You okay?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "You've barely touched anything." She sighed, pushed her fork around and said, "I'm fine, Liam. Just tired." But her eyes flicked to her phone like she was waiting for something that had nothing to do with me. Marco passed by the table and greeted us warmly, but even that didn't soften her mood. I tried again. "We haven't had a night out in months," I said. "I thought this might help us reconnect." Emily didn't even look up. "Not everything has to be some big repair attempt," she muttered. "Maybe I just want to sit and eat." Her phone buzzed then, sharp and bright against the muted restaurant. She grabbed it so fast it startled me. She smiled at the screen, and that smile wasn't for me. I leaned forward. "Who's that?" Emily stiffened. "No one. Just work." But I could hear the tremble in her voice. "Work makes you smile like that?" I asked. She shot me a warning look. "Can we not do this tonight?" Before I could answer, she stood up. "I need to take this outside." I watched her walk out the door, the glow of her phone lighting her face like she was stepping into someone else's world. I waited a minute before following her, telling myself I wasn't checking up on her, just worried. When I stepped outside, the cold air hit me first. Then I saw her. She wasn't on the phone at all. She was standing with a man I had never seen, his hand brushing her arm like it belonged there. She laughed, an open, warm laugh I hadn't heard in months. My stomach dropped. "Emily?" I said, my voice cracking as they both turned. The man stepped forward with confidence that made my skin crawl. "You must be Liam," he said, offering a hand I didn't take. Emily looked guilty for 1 second before brushing it away. "Liam, this is Ethan," she said softly. He's my soulmate." I felt the words slam into me. "You're what?" I whispered. Ethan smiled like he'd won something. "Emily and I were just going to grab dessert. You don't mind, right?" I looked at Emily, hoping she'd say anything that made sense. She didn't. "I need clarity, Liam," she said. "Ethan understands parts of me you never tried to." My chest tightened. "You're leaving me here? In the middle of dinner?" She looked away. "We'll talk later. I need this." Ethan placed a hand on her back, guiding her like she already belonged to him. I could barely breathe. Emily touched my arm lightly. "Please don't make a scene." I stepped back, feeling the world tilt. "A scene?" I repeated. "You're walking out with him and I'm the problem?" Ethan sighed like I was an annoyance. "Look, man, she's not happy. Let her choose what feels right." Emily whispered, "I'll come home later." I stared at her, at both of them, and realized I had already lost something long before this night. Ethan opened the passenger door for her like it was some romantic movie scene. Emily hesitated for half a breath, then got in. She didn't even look back at me. The car pulled away and I just stood there on the pavement, listening to the distant noise of the street and the pounding of my own heart. When I finally went back inside, Marco saw my face and didn't ask anything. He just patted my shoulder and said, "You're not alone tonight, my friend." I sat back at the table, staring at the empty seat across from me, the half-finished pasta, the untouched wine, the small pieces of a night I had tried desperately to save. Marco brought me water and said quietly, "Sometimes people forget the value of what they already have." I nodded, though my throat felt tight. I whispered, "I didn't think she'd actually leave." Marco sighed. "Maybe she didn't leave you tonight. Maybe she left long before this." His words hit harder than I expected. I looked at the door, half hoping she'd walk back in and say it was all a mistake. But deep down I knew better. This wasn't a sudden choice. It was the truth finally showing its face, and I was the only one surprised by it. I felt completely, painfully alone. I walked into the house hoping the silence would calm me, but it only made my chest feel heavier. I dropped my keys on the counter and whispered to myself, "This place used to feel warm. What happened to us?" My voice echoed back like the walls were answering with the truth I didn't want. I sat on the couch, staring at the door, waiting for Emily to come home. Hours passed. I kept checking the time, telling myself, she'll walk in any minute. But she didn't. When the door finally clicked open, I felt my stomach twist. Emily stepped inside, brushing her hair back like nothing was wrong. I smelled the cologne before she even spoke. It wasn't mine. "Emily," I said quietly, "where were you?" She hung her coat without looking at me. "Don't start, Liam. I'm exhausted." I stood up. "You didn't come back after dinner? You left with him. You didn't even text." She threw her purse on the table. "Do you want me to lie? Would that make you feel better?" "No," I said. "I want honesty. I want my wife to talk to me." She crossed her arms. I told you already, Ethan understands me. I needed space tonight. I blinked hard. Space from your husband but not from him? She groaned. Why do you twist everything? You always make yourself the victim. My voice cracked. I'm not twisting anything. Emily, you walked out on me. She stepped closer, her eyes cold. Because you don't listen. You never did. Ethan actually hears me. I felt the words tear something inside me. So that's it? He listens better, so you throw away everything we built? She looked away. Maybe I deserve happiness. I stared at her. And I don't? Is that what you're saying? I'm saying, she whispered, I've been unhappy for a long time. I took a shaky breath. Then why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you talk to me instead of running to someone else? She grabbed her overnight bag from the closet. Because talking to you feels like talking to a wall. With Ethan, I feel seen. Seen? I repeated. By a man you barely know? She zipped the bag hard. He understands my soul. Hearing my wife say that about another man made my knees weak. Emily, please. Don't do this. Not like this. She turned toward me. I'm not cheating, Liam. I'm searching for clarity. Clarity? I stepped back. You came home smelling like someone else. She snapped. Stop making everything dramatic. I'm watching my marriage fall apart, I said. Is that dramatic? She rolled her eyes and reached for her shoes. I'm going to stay out tonight. I need time to think. I swallowed hard. Emily, can we talk? Really talk? Just sit with me for 5 minutes. I don't have 5 minutes, she said. I'm meeting him. The word him hit me like a punch. You're leaving again? She didn't answer. She just grabbed her phone and typed quickly, probably telling Ethan she was on her way. I whispered, does he matter that much? She finally met my eyes. Right now, yes. I felt something inside me collapse. And I don't. You're my husband, she said, but being married doesn't mean you're the one for my heart. I put a hand against the wall just to steady myself. Emily, please. I can change. We can fix this. She shook her head. I don't want to fix something that feels wrong. I stepped forward. Then say it clearly. Say you choose him over me. She hesitated, then whispered, I choose what brings me peace. My voice dropped to a whisper. And I never did? She didn't respond. I watched her pack the last of her things. You're not even fighting for us, I said. Not even a little. She said, you fight for something you believe in. I don't believe in this anymore. The door felt miles away as she walked toward it. Emily, I said, if you leave tonight, everything changes. She paused only long enough to say, maybe that's what we need. When the door shut behind her, the entire house exhaled like it had been waiting for her to leave. I sank onto the couch, listening to the quiet settle around me. It felt like the walls were closing in, every memory turning into a ghost. I'm losing her, I whispered. I'm losing everything. The house didn't argue. It just stayed cold, still, and painfully honest. I barely slept. By morning, my eyes burned and my chest felt tight. I called Jason the second I sat in my car. Can you meet me? I asked. I need someone to talk to. Say no more, he said. Come over. When I walked into his flat, he took one look at me and said, you look like hell, man. What happened? I dropped onto his couch. She left again. Said she needed clarity. Said Ethan understands her soul. Jason let out a sharp breath. I knew it. I knew she was drifting. My head snapped up. You knew. He sat across from me. Liam, I tried to warn you months ago. She kept texting someone constantly. She stopped talking about you. Every time I asked how things were, she changed the subject. I rubbed my face. Why didn't you tell me straight? I figured you saw the signs, he said. I didn't think you'd want to hear it. I shook my head. I didn't want to believe it. Jason leaned forward. Look, man, she didn't just meet Ethan last night. This has been brewing. The words stung. You think she's been cheating for months? Yes, he said plainly. She didn't find him. She chose him. I tried to breathe through the ache. I don't even know who she is anymore. Jason said, then find out. Look through her stuff. You deserve answers. I hesitated. Is that wrong? He shook his head. What she's doing is wrong. You're looking for truth. His bluntness hit me in a way that forced clarity. I'll check when I get home. Good, he said. And Liam, whatever you find, don't blame yourself. I wished I could promise that. Work felt like a punishment that day. I sat at my desk staring at my computer, unable to focus. Sarah, the coworker who always noticed too much, walked over and whispered, "You okay? You look crushed." I forced a small smile. "Rough night." She pulled up a chair. "Do you want to talk about it?" I sighed. "My wife left again. She's seeing someone else." Sarah's eyes softened. "Liam, I'm so sorry." I shook my head. "I keep telling myself it's temporary, but I know better." She said quietly, "You deserve someone who chooses you, not someone who makes you feel replaceable." Her words hit deeper than I expected. "I'm trying to accept that. If you need a break or someone to listen," she said, "I'm here." "Thank you, Sarah," I said. "You're kind." She offered a small smile. "Someone has to be." Her warmth felt foreign after months of coldness at home. When I returned home that evening, the house was dark again. No message. No sign of her. Just silence and that faint scent of cologne that wasn't mine. I whispered, "Okay, if truth is what I need, then I'll look." My hands shook as I opened her desk drawer. Receipts. Notes. A hotel keycard. I stared at it. "Please let this be old," I whispered. It wasn't. A receipt dated only a week earlier sat underneath it. 2 glasses of wine, 1 shared dessert. My heart thudded painfully. "So it wasn't just last night," I murmured. "It's been happening." I opened her laptop, hesitating only a second before checking her emails. A thread with Ethan filled the screen. "I miss you already. You make me feel alive. Tonight was perfect. He doesn't appreciate your light. I can't wait until you're finally mine." My hands curled into fists. "Mine?" I whispered. "He thinks she's his?" I clicked through more messages, plans, secrets, inside jokes I had never heard her laugh at with me. Then I found the worst one. "I'll tell him soon. He won't take it well, but I'm done pretending." I felt something inside me crack. "Pretending?" I said aloud. "Our whole marriage was pretending?" I stood up, breath unsteady. "She didn't find a soulmate," I said. "She replaced me." The betrayal washed through me in waves, rage, disbelief, heartbreak, all tangled, all sharp. I called Jason again. "I found everything," I said. "Receipts, messages, lies." "What do you feel?" he asked. "I feel stupid," I whispered. "And angry. Really angry." "You should be," he said. "But don't lose yourself in this." "I won't," I said. "I'm done begging for her love." Jason paused. "Liam, that sounds like a shift." "It is," I said. "I want my dignity back." When I hung up, I stared at the bedroom door Emily used to walk through, and for the first time, I didn't hope she'd return. I only hoped I'd recover. I heard the door open in the afternoon, and for a second, my chest tightened the way it always did when I hoped she'd come home for me. But when Emily walked in humming softly, like nothing had shattered between us, something inside me felt different. She dropped her keys onto the counter. "Liam, can we talk?" I stood in the doorway. "About what? Which lie do you want to start with?" She sighed like I was the problem. "Don't be hostile. I want to explain." "Go ahead," I said. "I'm listening." She walked closer, touched my arm lightly. I stepped away. She frowned. "Liam, come on. Don't act like this." "Act like what?" I asked. "A husband who found out his wife has been building a whole new life behind his back?" She rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic." The word hit hard, but the anger felt cleaner this time. "Right. Dramatic," I said. "Because you sneaking around, lying for months and sleeping with someone else is totally normal." She crossed her arms. "I didn't sleep with him." I looked directly at her. "Your messages said otherwise." She blinked. "You went through my phone?" "You left me no choice," I said. "You stopped talking to me. You shut me out." Emily let out a long breath. "Liam, listen. I'm trying to find myself. My heart is confused. Your heart seemed pretty clear in those hotel receipts." She clicked her tongue. "God, you always cling to the worst interpretation." "What's the best interpretation?" I asked. "Explain that to me." She hesitated, then spoke softly. "I think we should have an open marriage." I stared at her, unable to breathe. "Say that again." "I said," she repeated, "an open marriage could help us. It would give me space to explore what I feel. You could see other people too." "You already started yours," I said coldly. "Without asking." She shrugged. "It just happened, Liam. You can't plan who your soul connects with." My hands curled into fists. "And what am I supposed to do? Just stand here while you connect with Ethan whenever you feel your soul tingling?" She snapped. "Why do you twist everything? I'm asking you to understand my heart." "Your heart." I said. Where was that heart when I sat alone in a restaurant while you laughed with him outside? When you came home smelling like him? When you told him you couldn't wait to be his? Emily's face tightened. You don't get it. Ethan sees me in ways you don't. Then be with him, I said. Her mouth opened in surprise. Liam? I'm done, I said quietly. I'm not sharing my wife. I'm not living like this. She stepped closer. You're overreacting. No, I said steady for the first time. I'm choosing myself. Her eyes widened. What does that mean? It means I'm filing for divorce. She froze. You're what? You heard me, I said. I'm done begging for your love. Her voice rose. How can you throw away our marriage so easily? You threw it away months ago, I said. I'm just accepting it now. She shook her head quickly. No, Liam, you can't do this. You're upset. You're talking nonsense. I'm talking clearly for once. She reached for my hand. I pulled it back. She whispered, You're hurting me. I almost laughed. Hurting you? Emily, you broke me. She swallowed hard. If you leave, everything changes. I know. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. You're not strong enough to walk away. I am, I said. Because staying is killing me. Her voice turned small. Liam, what am I supposed to do? Live with the choices you made, I answered. She pressed a hand to her chest. I didn't think you'd actually leave. I thought you'd wait for me. I nodded slowly. That's the problem. She whispered, So this is it? Yes, I said. This is it. I walked into the bedroom and pulled out a duffel bag. She hovered in the doorway. You're leaving right now? I need distance, I said. Before you twist me into something I don't even recognize. You can't just. I can, I said. And I am. She reached out. I stepped past her. The house felt different as I moved through it, like I was finally seeing it clearly. I grabbed my wallet, my jacket, my phone. She followed me to the door. Liam, please, she whispered. Don't go. I'm scared. I was scared for months, I said. You didn't care. When my hand touched the doorknob, she said in a trembling voice, What if Ethan isn't what I thought? That's not my problem anymore. She choked on a breath. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. I opened the door. Goodbye, Emily. As it closed behind me, pain hit me hard, but under the pain there was something else. Something steady. Something mine. I whispered to myself, This time, I walk away. And for the first time I felt strength rising where the heartbreak used to live. Jason opened the door before I even knocked twice. You look like you've been chewed up and spit out, he said. Get in. I stepped inside with my bag. Thanks for letting me stay. You're my best friend, he said. You don't thank me for that. Just put your stuff wherever. I dropped the bag by the couch. I'm still shaking. Jason handed me a glass of water. Drink. Then tell me what's going on in your head. I sat down. I feel empty, but also weirdly calm. Like something snapped and I finally saw things clearly. That's what hitting rock bottom does, he said. Now you get to build upward. I sighed. I don't even know where to start. Start with you, he said. See a therapist. Go for a run. Eat real food. Do anything that reminds you you're alive. I looked at him. You make it sound simple. It's not, he said. But doing nothing is worse. I took a shaky breath. Okay, I'll try. Good, he said. And Liam? Don't check her messages again. Don't ask mutual friends about her. Don't track what she's doing. You need distance. I know. I paused. But it's hard. Of course it is, he said. Healing always is. 2 days later, I sat in a therapist's office. I never thought I'd end up in therapy, but after everything, I needed someone neutral. She asked, What brought you here? My wife chose another man, I said. And I'm trying not to break. She nodded gently. You're here and that's strength. Hearing that felt strange. Strength doesn't feel like this. Sometimes strength feels like rebuilding, she said. Her words lingered in my mind long after I left. That evening, Jason poked his head into the living room. You hungry? I looked up from my notebook. I can cook something. He smirked. Since when do you cook? Since now, I said. I need routines. All right, chef, he teased. Let's see what you make. I made a simple pasta dish and he tasted it dramatically. Not bad, he said. You're officially less helpless. I laughed for the first time in days. That's progress, right? Big progress, he said. Keep going. At work, Sarah approached my desk with a soft smile. "How are you holding up today?" "Better," I said. "I'm trying to build some new habits." "That's good," she said. "Did you eat? Sleep?" "Yeah," I said. "Jason made sure I didn't forget." She nodded. "He seems like a good friend." "He is," I said. "I wouldn't be standing without him." She looked at me for a moment. "You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to. But if you ever need someone to listen, I'm here." Her sincerity caught me off guard. "Thank you, Sarah." "That's what friends do," she said gently. Friends. The word felt new after months of isolation. As days passed, I found myself waking earlier, walking more, even joining Jason at the gym. "Come on," he said, handing me weights. "You've got anger to burn off." I grunted as I lifted. "Feels like I have a lot." "Then use it," he said. "Don't let it use you." After workouts, I felt lighter, physically and emotionally. Sarah noticed the change too. "You look different," she said one afternoon. "Different how?" I asked. "Like you're breathing again," she replied. I smiled faintly. "Feels that way." She hesitated. "I'm glad you're finding your footing." Her words were warm in a way I wasn't used to. "Thanks," I said. "It means more than you think." One evening, Jason walked into the living room holding his phone. "You'll want to hear this." "What now?" I asked. "Ethan," he said. "His ex-wife just filed for full custody." I blinked. "What? Why?" Jason shrugged. "Something about unstable behavior and broken promises." My brows furrowed. "That doesn't surprise me." "That's not all," he added. "His company is investigating him for some financial mess. Looks like Golden Boy isn't so golden." I sat back slowly. "So everything's falling apart for him." Jason nodded. "Karma's busy." I exhaled. "I don't feel happy about it. I just understand more now." "Understand what?" he asked. "That I didn't lose anything," I said. "I dodged something destructive." Jason smiled. "Now that's clarity." I nodded. "I'm rebuilding myself." "He's losing himself." "And Emily?" Jason asked. I shook my head. "She made her choice. I'm making mine." He patted my shoulder. "Proud of you, man." For the first time since everything collapsed, I felt something steady in my chest. Something like hope. I was making coffee in Jason's kitchen when someone pounded on the door. I flinched at the sound and said, "You expecting anyone?" Jason shook his head and walked over, but before he even touched the handle, I heard a voice I knew too well. "Liam, please," Emily cried. "Open the door." My stomach twisted. "What is she doing here?" Jason glanced at me. "You want her in or not?" I exhaled. "Let her in. I need to hear whatever this is." He opened the door and Emily practically stumbled inside. Her makeup was smeared, her eyes swollen, her hands shaking. "Liam," she sobbed, "I didn't know where else to go." I said quietly, "What happened?" She tried to speak through tears. "Ethan, he left me." I nodded slowly. "Of course he did." She stepped closer. "Please don't say it like that." Everything fell apart. His ex-wife went to court. She told everyone what he really is. And then his job, he got suspended. People are talking. Everything is ruined. I crossed my arms. Sounds like the truth finally caught up. She reached for my sleeve. I stepped back. "Don't," I said. "Liam, I made a mistake," she cried. "I didn't think he would actually leave. I didn't think you would actually leave." I stared at her. "That's exactly the problem. You thought I'd stay forever even while you walked over me." "That's not true," she said. I was confused. I thought I needed time. I thought Ethan was. "Your soulmate," I finished. "Yeah, I remember." She covered her face. "I didn't choose him because he was better. I chose him because I thought you'd still be there waiting." Hearing that hit something deep. "So you gambled my heart because you assumed I'd never walk away." "I didn't mean it like that." "Yes, you did," I said. "And it hurts more than anything else you've done." She shook her head helplessly. "I was stupid. I didn't appreciate you. I didn't realize what I had. Please, Liam, give me another chance." Jason stepped forward. "Emily, maybe give him space." "No," she said. "He needs to hear this." She turned to me again. "I know I broke you. I know I ruined everything. But I love you. I love you, Liam. Please come home." I felt shock, sadness, anger, but mostly something else. Nothing. "Emily," I said softly, "I don't love you anymore." She gasped. "Don't say that." "It's the truth. Whatever we had, you ended it. You didn't just betray me. You dismissed me. Tears streamed down her face. I can change. I'll do anything. Just don't leave me alone. I'm not punishing you, I said. I'm moving on. Is there someone else? She asked desperately. I shook my head. No. But there is someone who treats me with basic kindness. Something you stopped doing a long time ago. Sarah? She whispered. It's her, isn't it? She's a friend, I said. Nothing more. But even as a friend, she's shown me more warmth than you have in months. Emily collapsed to her knees. Please, she begged. I'm begging you. Don't throw our marriage away. I crouched down, not touching her. Emily, you threw it away when you chose him and expected me to stay. I'm choosing myself now. She looked up with red, desperate eyes. So there's no chance? No future for us? No, I said. There's closure. That's all. Jason helped her up. She tried to cling to me, but I stepped aside. Goodbye, Emily. As Jason led her toward the door, she looked back one last time. I never meant to lose you. You didn't lose me, I said. You let me go. The door closed behind her and I felt something inside me settle. Not joy. Not victory. Just peace, quiet, steady peace. Jason turned to me. You okay? I nodded. Yeah. For the first time, I think I am. Jason placed a hand on my shoulder and said, Healing's messy, but you're doing it. I let out a slow breath and answered, I'm learning to stand again. The room felt lighter, as if a weight had lifted. For the first time in months, I believed tomorrow might be mine. Finally. I checked my phone in the morning and saw 5 missed calls from Emily, 3 voicemails, and a long message. I didn't open any of them. Jason walked into the room and asked, She's still trying? I nodded. Yeah. She won't stop. He smirked. That's your silent revenge, you know? Not reacting. I shrugged. I'm not trying to punish her. I just don't have anything left to say. My phone buzzed again. Another message. Please, Liam. Just one call. I set the phone face down. Jason raised a brow. Not even tempted? I shook my head. No. Every time I hear her voice, I feel myself slipping backward. I can't go back. He smiled. That means you're healing. Later at work, Sarah noticed me ignoring another call. Is that her again? She asked softly. Yeah, I said. She's been trying all morning. Sarah hesitated. Does it hurt? I took a breath. It used to. Now it just feels distant. She nodded. Distance can be good. I looked at her. Talking to you helps too. She gave a small smile. I'm glad. During lunch, my phone buzzed again. Liam, please talk to me. I miss you. Then another, I'm trying to fix everything. Then, I'm falling apart. I whispered, so did I. She didn't care then. Sarah heard me. You don't owe her your pain. I nodded. I know. That afternoon when I walked past a window, I caught my reflection. I looked stronger, healthier, clear. Jason noticed later when I got home. You've been different, he said. In a good way. I asked, different how? He grinned. You're standing straighter, talking clearer. You're not carrying her weight anymore. I sat down beside him. I guess I'm finally choosing myself. He clapped my shoulder. That's the revenge she never expected. Another message came through. Can we meet? Please? I didn't reply. I muted the thread. I felt a strange calm wash over me, like silence was a language I finally understood. The next day at work, Sarah brought me a coffee. Thought you might need this. I smiled. You're too kind. She shook her head. No. I just know what it's like to feel pulled apart. I asked quietly, did someone do that to you? She looked down. Once. Took me a long time to let go. I said, how'd you move on? She looked at me with warmth. I stopped giving energy to someone who didn't deserve it. Her words settled deeply. I'm trying to do that now, I said. And you're doing it well, she replied. The kind sincerity in her voice felt like sunlight. When I returned to my desk, another message waited. I saw you at the gym. You look so different. Can we talk? I blinked at the screen. She went to the gym? I whispered. Sarah asked, everything okay? I exhaled. She's watching me. She noticed I'm changing. Sarah frowned. That's not your responsibility. I nodded. I know. At home, Jason asked, you gonna answer any of those? No, I said. Why should I? Exactly, he replied. This is what healing looks like. I paused. You really think so? Yeah, he said. A few months ago you would have run to her. Now you're running toward yourself. I sat on the couch, letting his words sink in. My phone buzzed again. I didn't move. Jason nudged me. You're free, man? Feel that? I closed my eyes. I do. Late that night, I finally checked the notifications out of curiosity. The last message read, I don't recognize you anymore. I whispered, neither do I. And that's a good thing. I set the phone down and walked away from it. Jason called from the kitchen. You want tea? I smiled. Yeah. Why not? He said, look at you. Softening again. I laughed. Maybe I'm living. He handed me a mug. To new beginnings. I lifted it. To finally choosing myself. I walked into the same Italian restaurant months later, but this time I wasn't dragging a broken heart behind me. Sarah walked beside me, smiling as she looked around. This place is cute, she said. You've talked about it before. I nodded. Yeah. Last time I was here, things were different. She tilted her head. Different bad or different good? I took a breath. Bad. Very bad. But I'm not here to repeat that night. Marco spotted us immediately. Liam. My friend, he called out. You look happier. I laughed. I feel happier. He glanced at Sarah. And you brought company this time. I nodded. Yeah. This is Sarah. She greeted him warmly, and Marco guided us to a table near the window. As we sat, Sarah said, You okay? You look a little tense. I shook my head. Not tense. Just remembering. She leaned in. You want to talk about it? I hesitated. Last time I sat at this table, Emily walked out mid-dinner to meet another man. It was the moment everything snapped. Sarah's eyes softened. I'm sorry. That must have been awful. I nodded. It was. But being here now feels different. Like I'm rewriting the memory. She reached across the table, touching my hand gently. We can make new ones. Marco came back with menus. Tonight, dessert is on the house, he said. I chuckled. You're trying to spoil us. He smiled. No. I'm celebrating your return. After he left, Sarah said, He seems to like you. I shrugged. He was kind when things fell apart. I think he saw more than I wanted him to. She smiled softly. People notice more than we think. When our food arrived, Sarah took a bite and said, Okay, you undersold this place. It's amazing. I laughed. I'm glad you like it. She studied me carefully. You're different tonight. Lighter. I took a sip of water. I worked hard to get here. She nodded. You really have changed. In a good way. I leaned back. It feels strange, you know? To sit here and not feel anger. Or sadness. Just calm. She said quietly, That's growth. After dinner, Marco approached us with 2 small plates. Dessert, he announced proudly. I stared at it for a moment, remembering the night Emily chased dessert with Ethan like it was worth more than our marriage. Sarah noticed my silence. You okay? She asked. I nodded slowly. Yeah. I just remember how this used to feel. She whispered, And how does it feel now? I smiled. Like I finally let go. She squeezed my hand. I'm glad you did. I took a bite of the dessert and laughed. It's actually good. Better than I remember. Sarah grinned. Maybe because no one's walking out on you this time. I chuckled. Yeah. That definitely helps. After dessert, we stepped outside into the cool night air. Sarah wrapped her arms around herself. It's colder than I expected. I took off my jacket and placed it around her shoulders. Here. She smiled shyly. You didn't have to. I shrugged. I wanted to. We walked slowly toward the car and she said, Can I ask you something? I nodded. Anything. She hesitated. Do you ever think about going back? Not to her, but to who you were? I shook my head. No. That version of me lived for someone who didn't value me. I'm not him anymore. She smiled. I like who you are now. I looked at her. So do I. When we reached the car, she leaned against the door. Liam, do you think you're ready? For something new? I took a breath. I think I'm ready to choose someone who actually chooses me back. Her voice softened. And do you think I could be that person? I stepped closer. I think you already are. She let out a quiet breath. Then maybe tonight is more than rewriting a memory. I nodded. Maybe tonight is the start of something real. As we drove away from the restaurant, I glanced at the rearview mirror, watching the lights fade behind us. Funny, I said. I thought losing Emily broke me. Sarah looked over. But it didn't? I shook my head. No. It saved me. She took my hand gently. Then let's keep moving forward. I squeezed her hand back. Yeah. Forward sounds good to me. As we drove, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, hope that didn't hurt. I said, for months I thought I needed closure from her. Sarah looked at me gently. But you needed freedom. I nodded. Exactly. I needed to see myself without the weight she put on me. She smiled softly. And now? I breathed out. Now I feel alive. Now I feel like the future isn't something to fear.